So a few weeks ago, a long-time follower got pretty angry with me because I said that World War III started when Iran attacked Israel. It's something that several publications address to. Now, there's other people that think that we've already been in one for a long time. Some will say that it started with the attack of Russia invading Ukraine, and it's hard to argue against the idea that the world has been at war for a while now. And it is a pretty global world war in which nations are fighting one another, and the casualties are pretty staggering once you start adding them up. Now, in this case, this is yet another example as of how what we imagine is not always how it plays out. What you may have in your mind in terms of what World War III should look like in Armageddon, Mad Max, something like that, or complete nuclear holocaust, may not be how it actually ends up playing out. And this is yet another example of that. This is from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. birth rates fall to record low. Guys, welcome to another video here of the Modern Survivalist, and this is something I've addressed before. We've talked about falling birth rates, fertility rates dropping all over the world. It has now reached a point in the United States that U.S. birth rate fall to record low. Last year's data are another sign of how American childbearing, which began declining during the 2007-2009 recession, never fully rebound. And it is now at 1.7. I think it's 1.6 actually. It is pretty damn low, man. 1.6 is well below 1.6, 1.7 for 2019. I think that now the record was 1.6. That is a lot lower than the replacement rate of 2.1. In case you're not familiar with it, you need a fertility rate of 2.1 just to sustain the current population, because men cannot have babies, it's only women, and each woman having two will replace those two people that one day will no longer be here. And you have that 0.1 because of accidents and child things like happen, but basically it's 2.1 just to sustain the population. You see it here, a woman with obvious obesity. That is yet another issue. It's people not wanting to have kids, people not being able to afford kids, and because of environmental aspects or lifestyle. It could be sedentary lifestyle. It could be the kind of food and chemicals and plastics and poison in the air. Who knows exactly why it is? But fertility rate keeps dropping for both men and women. Men are losing. I think that the sperm count drops like 1.5% each year, which is insane. And I doubt women are doing much better when it comes to their own reproductive systems. But this will have a massive impact on the economy as well. How record low U.S. birth rates will impact the economy. This is actually from last year, I believe. Also from the Wall Street Journal. And yeah, let's check this out.
Well, there's a baby bust. The birth rate for U.S. women is plunging. Here to discuss the economics of that and the economic impact of it, we've got Brenda Cronin from the economics desk here at the Wall Street Journal. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So this is the lowest birth rate. I got this story here by Miriam Jordan. It's great. It's the birth rate, the annual number of births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44 dropped 8% from 2007 to 64 births per 1,000, and that's the lowest on record, right? That's according to the nonpartisan.
Right. That's from Pew Research.
So.
That's
wow.
a very big deal, yes.
That's a big deal, and
it's
a big deal because, why?
Well, I think it has both economic causes and consequences.
Okay, so let's go through the causes.
Okay.
What are the causes of this?
Well, for one thing, it's a slight decline in immigration, obviously, because the immigrants were raising our birth rate. And also, the fact is that traditionally during downturns, historically, you will see a drop in fertility rates.
Okay. So you don't want to have a kid. You don't want to have a kid if you're feeling strapped for cash. You don't want to have a kid because you're like, truly the real cost comes 18 years later when you have to send them to college. But it's still psychologically no one wants to do that.
I have to say, why is she constantly laughing? She says it's serious and she laughs. Then a few more seconds later, she's still laughing. Why is she laughing so much? I don't get it.
They want
Right.
to know that they can
Right.
provide. Okay.
You'll see these sort of dips during, the Great Depression times, but then one normally sort of bounces back. As you know, though, we have been through a very interesting and unusual recession in the 2007-2009 period, and our recovery has been also very unusual, and we just have not seen...
Okay, now I understand why she laughs like an idiot, because she's gaslighting us. No, these things do not recover. It's been plunging, and they don't recover. It is a global trend that women have less and less children each passing year. It's not going up. Nothing indicates that it will change. It is like this. The graphic is like this.
Can't call it.
I would call it weak. But we have not seen things bounce back. I mean, just today we got our GDP figures for second revised figure for the third quarter, 2.7% growth. That's fairly meager.
And the GDP deflated was also too good, which is the inflation rate. So it means it grew as much as inflation did, which is not really very good.
Not really growing. That's called treading water.
It's, not really growing at all. So let's go to, okay, so that's the causes. Right?
Yes.
What about the consequences of this?
The consequences are significant because let's look at how an economy grows. It grows because people come in, people work, workers times
people come
productivity.
in, they are
people
born
right,
or they
right,
immigrate,
they immigrate, precisely. And they join, we hope, the workforce that has a need for them. So you have an expanding workforce, workers times productivity equals the economy. That's growth. That's how you get growth. If you have a shrinking workforce, if you have a shrinking labor force or a declining labor force participation rate, as we do, that is a troubling aspect. If you also have an aging population, and we are now starting to see that big baby boom, who formed the baby boom generation, starting to retire.
And this is the baby bust.
This is the baby bust.
This is the wow. Okay, so there you have it.
Yes.
A big deal, and lots more on that from the Pew Research Center on WSJ.com. Thank you very much, Brent.
These are the this is the Wall Street Journal, so these are the people that are responsible for this. The people that are now laughing as they say, yeah, we're all dying. These are the people that caused this in the first place. So they've done the agenda of telling women that they don't need no man, you don't need to get married, you don't need to have a family, you don't need to have a baby. Babies are for, no, get a dog, get a cat, get a fish, a goldfish. These are the same people that made it just too expensive to have a kid because everything is through the roof. It's impossible to afford a kid even if you want it. And now they're just laughing at us and telling, yeah, what? What is the laughing matter for you to laugh constantly while you're giving horrible news? Yes, a shrinking workforce means there's going to be less consumption. There's going to be less people working. There's going to be less people young enough to do some of the difficult, real jobs that keep an economy going. Now we can do without more bankers and lawyers and hedge funders, right? We can do without those. We cannot do without the leatherneck guy, the blue collar dude. We cannot do it without soldiers for the coming conflicts that we're seeing all over the place. We cannot do without young people. Old people are expendable. Sorry, just the way it is. Young people, not so much. You need those 20-year-olds. You need those younger generation going into a workforce and doing the jobs that older people simply cannot do. Look into what Japan is going through. You have these old as shit people doing jobs that they're just not capable of doing anymore because they don't have anyone else, right? And it hurts. They suck at it. They can barely do it or sometimes cannot even do it at all. And yet it is what it is because this is all cost. So just like in the case of World War III, it's not what you expected it to be, but it is. And the idea of how the end of the world will end up happening, unfortunately, just in diapers, in adult diapers. That's how the world ends, guys. Folks, if you want to prepare for all of this, you have my books, Surviving the Economic Collapse, strongly recommended, and Street Survival Skills, available in the links there below. Take care.